Ladies and gentlemen, this is a very important segment. Now, I want you to take something, I want you to understand something very important. These polls are meaningless. They are meant not to reflect public opinion. They're meant to shape public opinion. Nobody wants the former vice president to say a word because they're propping him up. It's weekend at Biden's. They're propping him up, knowing very well they can't win with an exhumed body. Hillary Clinton is going to be the nominee, but share my Times of Israel and Huffington Post articles below. To my super chat, thank you. And to my new Patreons, thank you very much. Your support is greatly appreciated. Ladies and gentlemen, the new New York Times poll today, 32% describe themselves as Democrats, 25% describe themselves as Republicans. Okay. Why do you have a 7% difference between Democrats and Republicans? Okay, this is the, that's the CNN poll. So the CNN poll that showed that, so this was several weeks back, Trump was down 14 points. You look, more on methodology, a total of 1,259 adults, including an oversampled, interviews were conducted in English and Spanish. Among the entire sample, 32% described themselves as Democrats, 25% described themselves as Republicans, and 44% described themselves as independents. One reason this is complete nonsense and completely irrelevant and a complete public relations spin is that on election day, you're not going to have 7% more Democrats vote. This is not science. This is not scientific. There's nothing here that is based on math and science, and this is public relations. They ask more Democrats than Republicans. And then they say, well, there are more registered Democrats. Well, okay, but that's why they want mail-in ballots. So they can say, well, there's more registered Democrats. But you have to vote on election day. Trump is supposed to be the biggest monster on the planet, so you shouldn't have problems voting on election day, getting the voter turnout, right? But they're already blaming Putin. And we found out there was no collusion, and not one person altered their vote because of Facebook ads or the DNC emails that showed Bernie was cheated. But here, CNN, the trusted name in news. The CNN, 25% describe themselves as Republicans, 32% describe themselves as Democrats. You have 7% more Democrats, and then you have 44% describe themselves as independents. Okay, but if you're answering the phone when CNN calls, you're not an independent voting for Trump, very likely. So there goes that unbiased scientific poll. That's about as accurate as asking Debbie Wasserman Schultz who she's voting for. Okay. So Trump is not down 14 points. And if you want to say he's down 14 points, he's down 14 points among surveys that ask 7% more Republicans than Democrats. Okay? So that's one poll. But wait, there's more. So hold on one second. Let me just, that's a CNN poll from June 5th, 2020. 1,000, this is interesting, 1,259 respondents and 7% more Democrats, 811 cell phone respondents, and the total landline response were 448. So, but my question is, who answers their cell phone? Who on earth answers their cell phone when they see a number that they don't recognize? That's also an issue. So Trump is down 14 on the CNN poll from weeks back. That's a bunch of nonsense. Democrats were overrepresented in that poll by 7%. 35% Democrat, 26% Republican. I'm sorry, 9%. What is wrong with this? Hold on, what am I looking at? I'm looking at all these different polls. This is the Siena College poll. Okay, but so the CNN poll, Democrats were overrepresented by 32% to 25% Republicans, so by 7%. Okay. All right. Now you have the poll from today. Methodology. You have 9% more Democrats in this New York Times poll where they say, I think it was Biden takes 14-point lead over Trump. Again, another 14-point lead. 9% more Democrats. 35% Democrats were polled and 26% Republicans. But there are never Trumpers. So if the New York Times, if you're a Republican, you're spending 20 minutes or half an hour with the New York Times, you probably don't like Trump. This is the most absurd, nonsensical, irrational, unscientific, it's not even, look, this has nothing to do with statistics because they're going to lose in swing states in November. Minnesota is in play for President Trump. So they're going to lose again. But you have a situation, people, where they're setting themselves up because they have nothing else. You have a 9-point New York Times 9-point difference between Democrats. There are 9 percentage point. Democrats are 35% of this poll. Republicans are 26% of the poll. How on earth is that accurate? How on earth could they possibly overrepresent Democrats? What do you think the poll's gonna say? So this is yet another poll that is completely meaningless. 9% more Democrats are asked. Okay. So you have an issue. Then you have, so that's the New York Times. Then you have a Monmouth University poll, and that's 33%. This is a while back, June 1st. 33% Democrat, 29% Republican. So you're still getting 4%. Democrats lead by 4 percentage points in terms of them being overrepresented in this poll. But you can look at every one of the polls. More Democrats are asked. So, how on earth is this accurate? How on earth is this accurate? This makes no sense. But again, it's not, they're trying to shape public opinion. They're not trying to reflect public opinion. You have overwhelmingly negative media coverage. Overwhelmingly negative media coverage. Okay. So then you say, well, Trump is down nationally. No, he's not. No, he's not. There aren't 10% more Democrats than Republicans in the country. Then you have to say, well, the independent voters, even in the CNN poll, choose Trump by a margin of 16 points when it comes to the economy. Nobody knows why they're voting. Can you tell me a reason? Give me a reason why they're voting for Biden. You have to, there has to be some critical thinking here. Why are people voting for Biden in overwhelming numbers? Why would they be voting for Biden in overwhelming numbers? What is it about Biden that he's just not Trump? Because, I want to know. He's a decent person, not to Tara Reid. not to people who think he was wrong for trying to fire a prosecutor in another country. They're already blaming Russia. Do you understand? Like, they're going to, at a certain point, they're going to have to back up all their nonsensical claims. Blaming Russia, okay. They say, oh, well, read the Mueller report. State election officials were targeted by Putin. Well, okay, give us the names of these people. Give us how many votes were altered, because the intelligence community, the wonderful intelligence community, said no votes were altered. So then you get with Bernie Sanders, well, she won all the votes. Yeah, but the DNC actively campaigned against Bernie Sanders, which he doesn't care. He's along for the ride. Well, they say, well, she got more votes. Trump got more votes in swing states. She won the popular vote simply because she outspent Trump. You better hope, Democrats, you get the popular vote. If they go with Biden, they're not going to get the popular vote. So they're not going to win. The polls are absolutely meaningless. Go to each one of the major polls. Each one of the major polls, Biden doubles lead over Trump, 12 points national poll. So let's see here. Let's see if we can find this Harvard-Harris poll. Oh, my God. Let's find this Harvard-Harris poll that says Biden's up. You can go to each one of these polls, ladies and gentlemen. You can look at the methodology. Why would they ask 10% more Democrats than Republicans if it wasn't just a blatant public relation? And then poll, majority of people, hold on, what's this? Okay, so hold on really quickly. We'll get to this. I'm trying to find this poll here where it says the double-digit lead. Okay, so Harris poll holds double-digit lead. Oh, my God. According to the latest Harris poll. Okay, give me the methodology, please. It takes 1,000,000 years for it to load up. I have no clue why. It's like America Online or Earthlink. But every one of these polls, you're going to get more Democrats. Why didn't... And then you get, they should have not Republican, Trump supporter. Are you a Trump supporter? Okay? Just a Trump supporter. What the heck? They don't even have the June poll here. Whatever. Oh, my God. All right. So I'm just trying to find here. So they have all these, but Biden leads by 22 points on race and policing. What? Why? Because of the crime bill that he helped write? Because of what he told Charlemagne? The "you ain't" comment? What is this public relations nonsense? So you have... And then you get Trump trails Biden by 8 points despite record high approval. So, again, none of these polls make any sense. They're going to lose again, and they're going to blame Russia like they usually do. Larry Whitaker! How closely are you following state elections for Senate and Congress? Not very closely. Not closely. All three branches needed for best chance. I agree. Accomplishing lasting political change. Need more Supreme and High Court judges placed. I agree with you. I think that the House and Senate will go the way of the presidency. So, well, I should say this. I think that President Trump winning will increase chances that we keep the Senate. The House, I'm not sure about. They might keep the House. Larry, you're 100% right. Thank you very much, Larry, as always. You're 100% right. Also, the future of the Durham probe. There is no more Durham probe if Trump loses. I don't see him losing. He would obliterate Biden. The second Biden is forced to speak, that's game over. It's going to be Hillary Clinton. She'll lose again. And it's going to be really interesting. We have, Larry, that's a great point. And I think President Trump, I know President Trump's going to win. It's just a matter of how decisively he defeats Clinton. Larry, if he defeats Clinton by a decisive victory, I think it's Congress, that bodes well for Congress. If it's a razor-thin margin or if it's very close, then I don't know. Larry, thank you very much again. Great point. Abel! We're screwed either way. Biden wins. Rampant wokeness. Trump wins. Woke. Also, the boot loaner we ask for may not be the one we want. That's true. Abel, great point. Larry, thank you again. Abel, great point. I think, though, that I don't think Biden's not going to be even nominee. It'll be Clinton. Once Clinton becomes nominee, the facade will, the charade will be over. And all of this hysteria will subside a bit. Because then people will be like, oh, okay. We know what this is about now. We know what this is all about. Abel, thank you. I'm actually, I'll tell you something. The unrest, Abel, a lot of it is due to I don't think there's going to be. I'll just say this. Democrats' media will have to reassess the entire paradigm that they're propping up once Trump wins again. Media and intelligence operatives are they'll slither towards anything that's most lucrative and politically expedient. So 56% of likely voters. Okay, hold on one second. I'm trying to find every single. So I just gave you 3 polls where Trump is down by double digits. And Democrats are overrepresented. A Harvard-Harris poll said majority of voters believe Tara Reid, but say it will not impact their vote because apparently Democrats have no value system. It only impacts the vote if it's a Republican, not a Democrat. So there we go. And then you hear results were weighted, like the overt nature of overrepresenting Democrats. Well, we weighted them and we took that into consideration. No, you didn't. You wouldn't have to address the absurd nature of the poll if there wasn't an overt public relations spin. So here, let me get this Harvard-Harris poll. Can I just see the actual poll? My God. So, I can't even find the actual Harvard-Harris poll. I don't know the methodology because I can't find the actual poll. But you better believe he's down 12 points nationally. All right, so they almost certainly asked more Democrats than Republicans. There aren't 10% more Democrats than Republicans that vote on Election Day. That's number one. Number two, let's see if I could find, my God almighty. They don't list the poll. They don't list any of these polls lately. Like, you can't look at the methodology. The ones that I found, you could, but if you go to the Harvard-Harris page, it's like May 20th national poll. Can I get anything earlier? I mean, the latest ones, it's unbelievable. So, ladies and gentlemen, Democrats are not going to win the election. Just like they weren't going to win. Luke St. Martin, Eric H526, hello. Just like they weren't going to win in 2016 when I told people they're not going to win. Now you have Bill Kristol saying, you look at the polls and you think you can't win, but Trump's path to victory depends on persuading Americans. It depends on voter suppression. Okay, where? Which states? Go, don't say after the fact because you lost. Democrats need to say which states and cities Republicans plan on suppressing the vote. Mass disinformation. You mean like blaming Trump for working with Russia for 3 years and finding nothing? You mean like calling the Clinton email server debacle a matter? Foreign interference. How did they interfere? By telling us that Bernie Sanders was cheated by Facebook pages and bots on Twitter? Give me a break. My God, November 3rd is not going to be fun for them. An unabashed use of executive branch power to shape events. Unabashed. And perceptions this fall. Bill Kristol is voting alongside all the Bernie Sanders supporters. Do you realize this? The Bernie Sanders boosters of today are voting alongside Bill Kristol. Bill Kristol and all the YouTube pundits that are Medicare, not all, but almost all, the 1 million to 4 million YouTube pundits that scream Medicare for all, that don't scream that anymore, are voting alongside Bill Kristol. They're voting Democrat. There's a reason you have Bernie Sanders, Medicare for all people, and Bill Kristol and former Bush neoconservatives voting for the same political party. There's a reason, ladies and gentlemen. There's a reason. Tron Nort! But if Dems take the House or keep the House, AOC got reelected in Senate, Trump and America's in big trouble. You still, Tron, you're to an extent, but you still need 2/3 of the Senate. They're not going to get 2/3 of the Senate to impeach to remove the president. So I don't think they're. I mean, it depends on. It really depends on. I don't think they're going to. I don't think they're going to. I mean, I don't know. I can only tell you that they can't defeat Trump. They can definitely defeat, Republicans. The Republican Party, like the Never Trump Republicans, they can't defeat a Democrat head up. They get steamrolled by Democrats. Well, Trump has their number. So I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I'm a Trump supporter. I used to be a Bernie Sanders booster supporter. Biggest Bernie Sanders booster on the internet, according to the Huffington Post. The unofficial scribe of Sanders' most hardcore voters, according to the Washington Post. But that's before Bernie became a human doormat for the Democratic Party. But Trump up 14 points. Well, okay. Then you shouldn't lose, even with disinformation and Facebook ads and everything, right? You should still win. Tron, thank you. Tron, I think that you look at the Republican Senate, I mean, they haven't really helped Trump that much. So, I mean, not much would change, but I don't see, like, there are a lot more Republicans up in the Senate, so up for re-election, so let's see. Said GOP operatives worry Trump will lose both the presidency and the Senate. Really? Okay. They said that too. Trump was going to lose the Senate. In 2016, so let's see. But you look at these polls, they're absolutely meaningless. They're just public relations ploys. Okay, so Trump down, Biden. May. You have never-ending, Tron, thank you again, never-ending, apoplectic, hysterical media coverage against Trump. The most negative media coverage you could ever imagine. What do these people expect in terms of polls? Like, what do they expect? They're happy because Trump is down by double digits when when Democrats are overrepresented in these polls. This is their biggest claim to fame. This is how they're like, oh my God, we're going to win. They thought that Clinton was going to win Texas. They gave Clinton a 70 to 80% to 90+% chance of winning, and they lost. They will never stop. It's like they'll never look and say, okay, well, you know what? We probably shouldn't, really care about these polls. Marquette poll. Okay, let's see if I could read the methodology here. Of course, they never link to the poll. Never link to the poll. You have to. It's like the quest for the Holy Grail. You can never get the actual poll. Never. And then it goes to like 10 different articles. You press one thing, it goes to 10 different articles. It press one thing. Joe Biden leads Donald Trump by 49 to 41% in Wisconsin. In a Marquette poll. I want to see. Oh my God, please just, okay, Marquette, okay. Let's see, okay. Where's the methodology? This one is 45% Republican, 44% Democrat. This is the one poll I found that has, and it's just like 2% more Republicans. Trump is only down in Wisconsin by, it says here, in May, Biden was supported by 46% of voters and Trump by 43%. So now in June, it's 49 to 41%. So he's 8 points down in Wisconsin. But Wisconsin hasn't voted for, up until 2016, hadn't voted for a Republican since 1984. Okay, that's the one. They're going to lose again. The major polls that show Trump down by 14. Citizen of the world, hello. Aria, hello. Everybody, hello. Eric, hello. Luke St. Martin, thank you. Eric H526, thank you. Let's see. Okay, national. Trump down, national poll. Biden has a big lead on Trump in election polls. Nobody can explain why. Absolutely nobody can explain why. Zero critical thinking. Zero critical thinking. The poll says it. They asked more Democrats, by and large, except that one Wisconsin poll, which was like barely more Republican, like 2% more. But on average, like, 4 to 10% more Democrats are asked. So that could be, up to 20 to 30 more people, depending on the size of the poll. But here, let's see. Despite dreamy polls, Dem can't shake their 2016 nightmare. It's gonna look like the best thing you ever heard in your life. Okay, Quinnipiac, please. Let's see. Tell me you asked more. Okay, let me see here. Okay, hold on one second. Can I find out how many people? My God. Unbelievable. If the election were being held today, what does that even mean? You won't, that's another issue. This is gets into this philosophical existential dilemma. Nobody knows how they're going to exactly feel on November 3rd. Okay? If they're not going to say with Biden, but if Biden jumps into the reflecting pool without any clothes on, maybe they'll change their mind, which is possible. Then if it's Madam Secretary, they're going to do it all over again, and there are going to be other issues too. They're not going, look, at the end of the day, all Democrats have is they're not Trump. That's it. That's literally the only thing they have. Aria Lee! Aria, hello. Thank you as always for watching. Aria, thank you. That's literally the only thing they have. So, yes, I found it. Democrat 33%, Republican 25%. Yet again, this 4 major polls. June 18th, Quinnipiac poll, Biden up by 8 nationally. And of course, what do we find? Party identification, 33% Democrat, 25% Republican. They're asking more Democrats. Do you think it makes a difference? Raiders fans were asked what they thought of the Broncos. And surprisingly, an overwhelming majority found that they dislike the Broncos. A majority of people in New York side with the Yankees over the Red Sox. More Yankee fans were polled. I mean, what would be the equivalent? I don't... 4 major polls. Quinnipiac, New York Times, CNN, and another CNN poll. Monmouth University, Quinnipiac, New York Times, and CNN. All of them had either 9% more, 5 to 10% more Democrats. 5 to 10% more Democrats were polled. And this is what they're jumping for joy over. And then they back it up by saying, well, if we lose, well then it's Putin's fault. And then polls indicate that Trump is down. Well, you have the most horrendous media coverage. The absolute most horrendous media coverage. What do you expect? Mo! There is no DNC, only HRC. It's so obvious now. Yes. Mo, thank you. Mo, thank you so very much. It's so obvious. It's obvious to you. It's obvious to me. It's obvious to the viewers here. But everyone's like, Biden is up by 14. For what? For being an exhumed body? For what? What did he do? I want to know what he accomplished. For getting less than 1% in Iowa in 2008? The only reason President Obama picked Biden is because Biden used to be like this nice guy, like a really salt of the earth man. Mo, thank you again. Thank you, Mo. Thank you. Oh, did I miss William R. Abrams? William? All right. William, fantastic. Okay, William. Mo, thank you again. Mo, thank you. I want to know what Biden has accomplished before I end this live stream in a couple of minutes. I just gave you 4 national polls. Monmouth University, Quinnipiac, CNN, and New York Times. Each one had between 4 to 10% more Democrats being asked whether they dislike Trump. What do you expect from these polls? What do you expect? Tiger's Lair, thank you. It's just unbelievable. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much. To my super chat, thank you. To my new Patreons, thank you. If you want to support my voice long term, my Patreon is below in the pinned comment, ladies and gentlemen. People, I gave you 1, 2, 3, 4 major polls I'm sure you could find from here on out. Just look at the methodology. If they're asking more Democrats, the poll is completely obsolete because you're not going to have even 4% more You're not going to have any percent more Democrats on election day. Republicans usually turn out more than Democrats. So it's completely it makes absolutely no sense what they're doing, and they're setting themselves up again for failure. Look, when they lose again, it ain't going to be fun for Democrats because they're going to say, "Oh my God, we want more investigations. Oh, we want this, we want that, and eventually they're going to be ignored. Media is going to ignore them. And the intelligence chiefs that they cozied up to will jettison all the wonderful Democrats and media that they have this nasty, symbiotic, unholy relationship with. So Give me your thoughts below, people. I'll be back to check out H.A. Goodman's other channel. I have a great segment up on there. And subscribe to H.A. Goodman's other channel and share my Huffington Post sports article. That's below, too. Thanks, everybody. God bless. To my super